This is another story about a dream fulfilled. Steve Oglesby's fantasy has always been to drive a Cobra. So when we found out that we would be able to test drive a replica 427 Cobra SE, we called in Steve, and he came running.
We found out that building these replica cars is a labor of love for an entire family in Alabama, the Weaver family. Their company is called Unique Motorcars, and it couldn't be better named. And their vehicle has been named Best Cobra Kit Car by Kit Car magazine. Here's a very excited, very nervous Steve Oglesby to introduce you to the car and the manufacturers.
It's midday. This service station is busy, but something is demanding attention. It's more than curiosity. So what's the big question?
What is this?
Cobra.
That's right. Parked next to an appropriate companion is a Shelby Cobra 427 SC replica, built by Unique Motorcars of Gadsden, Alabama, and it definitely attracted attention.
It's a great-looking car. Beautiful. It sounds wonderful, too.
It's kind of loud.
Is it illegal?
Yeah, I'd have to give you a ticket for that.
It's amazing to see a car built like that today.
There are several manufacturers currently offering component replicas of this legendary vehicle, but this example is built, in various stages of completion, by Rick and Maurice Weaver, and I had the pleasure of meeting them and their company spokesman, Paul Peterson. I use the word pleasure for a good reason. They were actually going to let me drive it, fulfilling a faded but not forgotten 25-year-old dream. Let's just go for a ride and see what happens. Paul Peterson played the role of Jeff on the Donna Reed Show, so I felt like I grew up with this guy. And not only is he a talented spokesman for Unique Motorcars, he also owned and raced the original Cobra. So Paul was able to provide us with an honest, if somewhat biased, comparison.
Personally, the replica Cobras handle better than the old ones. The old ones were just old technology, transverse leaf springs. They were stiff as boards, terrible seats. The Unique Cobra is wonderful, and it compared, even the 427, which is a big, heavy block, handles much better in tight quarters. And of course, the performance is, well, it's startling. I always make a comparison. I have a 15-year-old son who's into cars, and he used to think, you know, something like a 914 Porsche or 911 Targa was really hot. And the first time I took him for a ride in the Cobra, his eyes popped out like that. Now this is speed, because see, the Cobra just doesn't go fast. It goes fast quick.
As the drag racers say, it got my attention. But I wanted to know more about the mechanics of this Unique Cobra. So the Weavers took over the demonstration.
And then over the last 9 years, we've just been improving the product and making it more like the original, but not really trying to make it an exact replica. Taking care of things that might have been a problem on the original and upgrading them, making them a little more modern, a little more functional for a daily driver as opposed to the crudeness of the original race car. We utilize a Hurst Indy shifter that comes straight up, and the car is equipped with Stewart Warner gauges, which was one of the original equipment gauges, and then of course the original type steering wheel, mirrors, and leather seats.
Well, the engine in this car is a 428 built to Cobra Jet specs. It has all my favorite motor would be a small block Ford because it's streetable. You can buy parts over the counter at any parts store in the country. You get into the big blocks and you're into a specialty motor that there's not that many of, and it gets a little bit tough getting parts, and they're a lot more expensive. Yeah, well, the small block, of course, there's less weight on the front suspension, so the least amount of weight you have, the better. And the big blocks handle well, but even in the original cars, most of the small blocks seem to outperform the big blocks on curves.
The 289 302 version may handle better, but the Cobra's reputation for absolute performance is based on the big motor. With a 5-to-1 power-to-weight ratio, the original would go 0 to 100 and then break back to 0 in less than 13 seconds. This is what I craved as a teenager. This is what Rick gave me the keys to now.
Well, now I'm nervous. You're nervous? After more than 20 years, I finally get a chance to drive a Cobra. It's not just any Cobra, it's a 427. Can dreams really come true? Can I even get in this thing? There are no words that work here.
Analysis? Who cares about gas mileage or creature comforts? You're talking about a Cobra, whether it's an original or a replica. I promised myself when I started the story that I wouldn't try to overdo the pros. So I'll end here with a tribute to one of America's greatest cars, the words of one of her best authors. And so I had my moment of glory, that brief, fleeting glory, which of itself cannot last. But while it does, it's the greatest game of all. With apologies to William Faulkner, and thanks to Unique Motorcars, I'm Steve Oglesby, Road Test Magazine.
Take a real deep breath, because we're about to tell you what it would cost to buy that Cobra as is. The base price is $32,900. That doesn't include an engine. The Ford engine inside adds another $5,000. And the special performance suspension is another $3,000.
Well, the three-piece modular wheels are nearly $2,000, and those great aluminum trunk panels are $1,200. Additional options include the Ford top loader 4-speed and chrome roll bar and side pipes. You can add another $3,745. The total price of the car Steve drove, $47,795.
Some very impressive stats on that car that we want to tell you about. And this comes from this year's Cobra Shootout, sponsored by Kit Car Illustrated Magazine at the Tulsa International Raceway. Did the quarter mile in 13.22 seconds. Top speed in the quarter was 104 miles an hour, and it did 0 to 60 in 5 seconds. Sounds like one of my old dragsters.
And you did it too, didn't you? If you'd like to contact the Weaver family, write to Unique Motorcars, 230 East Broad Street, that's Gadsden, Alabama, 35903. Or you can call area code 205-546-3708.
We'll be right back with a look ahead to next week's Road Test Magazine.